You would think the way these fireworks are going off in the background, the bombs bursting in air, you would think that it's December 31st, that it's New Year's Eve, but it's not. It's the night of the 1st, January 1st. So if you can hear the fireworks going off that aren't supposed to be going off, I'm so sorry. But let's get into this December wrap up. Yeah. So I can't even remember how many books I read or attempted to read, but let's call it around 29. If it's not, I'll put it here on the screen. But I had an okay reading month. In December, I usually try to slow down my reading and to take a breath, to take some time to reflect on my reading, to reflect on what I want to do for the new year when it comes to my reading, and just slow down reading altogether. So that's what I did. So towards the end of December, I just began to listen to audiobooks or not read at all. December is usually my less stressful month of reading. So that being said, let's get into the audiobooks that I read in December. So first up, I read Lilith by Alexandria House, a Three Kings novel, and it's book 1 in that series. And this was so good. I think I'm going to give it a 4. It is very different from what I've ever read from Alexandria House. And I was surprised because I was listening to this and I was thinking to myself, where is this going? But it is a forced proximity. I'm going to leave it at forced proximity and insta love. And I found it to be enjoyable. The main character, Lilith, is just about to break up with her boyfriend of about 12 years. She's in her 40s and she's had it. They have a situation going on and she's just had it. Even though she loves him, she knows the relationship is not going in the direction that she needs it to go in order to feel the stability of this relationship, only to witness something happen in the alley of her apartment, and her life changes from there. It was so entertaining and interesting. Next is That Love in Scrubs by Aisha Brie. This is a multi-authored series, and I just think they're interconnected loosely. They don't need to be read in any order, I don't believe. But I read the first one, which is by Aisha Brie, and I have read from Aisha Brie before, and it was, I kicked the stand, my bad. And it was interesting. It is about a man who is a doctor, a OBGYN doctor, Jesus Christ. And he had a wife. He is now a widow. His wife died in surgery. Not surgery. His wife died giving birth to their daughter because of unforeseen circumstances during her delivery. There was nothing anybody could do to help her, and she had really good doctors. And our FMC, I can't remember her name, but our FMC, her mother passed away during childbirth as well. And she could have been saved. However, as a Black woman, her needs and her pains and her comforts and her discomforts were ignored. And so she died and she didn't have to. And these two meet. It wasn't a pretty okay story. The only thing I did not like about this story is I really despise children in books, and I'm going to tell you why, when it's a romance. Because the children are usually there to propel the story forward. Like, this is a romance, and this is a romance. Did I say romance? This is a romance book, and he's a doctor, right? He's always on call, and he's one of those doctors where life usually takes a back seat to his career, and that includes his daughter at times. And this woman comes into his life, and automatically he wants to be home with his daughter. Automatically, he wants to make time to be with this woman. And I'm like, you didn't know you wanted time with your daughter before this? You didn't know you wanted to spend less time at work and with your family before this woman came into play? That part was just off for me, and that's why I don't like children in books. But this one I'm gonna give it 3.5. Next is Vane and Winnie 2.1. This is like a bonus story. It was only like 18 minutes of or listening time. It was very smutty. If you haven't read the series, then this doesn't really matter. If you are in love with Vane, this matters a lot. I don't know, it depends. Next is The Strongest Whiskey by Beloved. This is the 4th book in the Protector series. And I'm reading the Protector series. I started by going to Southern Hearts and Signed Kisses last year and picking up a few of the books from Beloved herself. However, I picked up books like 2 and 5, I believe. And so I've been reading. 1, I read ebook. 2, I read because I owned it. 3 and 4, I read ebook and audiobook. And I don't really remember this one. And the series isn't something that I really want to continue. What I do love about the Beloved world, however, is that all of her series are interconnected in some kind of way. There's always mentions of characters that you've met before in other stories. So Beloved is always one of those authors that I will continue to read. It's just that every story just isn't for me, and that's fine. Next is Hansel and Gretel by Stephen King. Don't ask me why I read this book. I don't know. Or why I listened to this audiobook, because I do not know. It was there, and I said Stephen King did a retelling of a children's story. Let me read it. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. Now, here's something that might surprise you. I read the first 4 books in the Sick Boys series by Lucy Smoke. I did. And it's because I owned book 4. I owned book 4, which was Wicked Dark Heathens. And with Wicked Dark Heathens, I kept trying to wait for the Baddie's book box to come out with a special edition for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd book, and they never did. So I sold the 4th book on Pango and decided I'm just going to read it on audio on Libby, and that's what I did. So all 4 books 1 through 4, I listened to on audio on Libby for free, and I enjoy the series. It is very dark, and if someone tells you it's a bully romance, don't believe them. It's female rage at its best, and these are, well, she's a teenager, she's 18, and the love interests are 19, 20, 21, 22. There are, is it 4? It's 3 boys. It's 2 girls to start with, and the first girl, our sick queen, is a badass. She doesn't give 2 shits, and she's not going to be bullied. And I love that. Yeah, it was really good. It is really sexual. It's very smutty. But it's also very, if you're looking for someone in this series to have any remorse, to feel bad for anyone, they don't. They won't. They can't. And I am here for all of it. Someone who does you that much harm does not deserve empathy or remorse. I recommend the series. Next, let's look at the eBooks that I read this month. First up is Exposed by Chiquita Denis. Didn't like it. I gave it a 1 star. The story was completely off from the very beginning, and the love that persisted between these 2 characters was off kilter. He despised her from the minute he saw her, and she was rude a little bit. It was just weird. And his job is a bodyguard, and he wasn't bodyguarding. He didn't guard one body. And then by the end of the book, something happens to her. And he's like, oh my God, it's my fault. Why didn't I see it? Why didn't I do anything about it? So he ghosts her, right? Something happens to her while he's supposed to be bodyguarding her. And because they started up a relationship, he was blinded to the fact that he wasn't doing his job. And so she goes to the hospital. When she wakes up, she's looking for him. He's nowhere to be found, and he disappears for 3 months. So much so that her friends are like, girl, you better go get that man. That's a good man. Is it? Is it a good man? What? He ghosted her for 3 months because she did call. She did. She called him. He ghosted her for 3 months, and she had to go running to find his ass. And then she runs to find him, and they get back together. Fuck out my face with this shit. Like I told you, I'm reading The Protectors by B. Love. So I read The Protectors. That's what it's called. It's just called The Protectors. And it's book 3. And I believe it's book 3. And this book is basically just B. Love likes to do like intermission books where you catch up with past characters and you meet new characters in the back of the past character stories so that you know who's about to come up in the future books. It was only like 60 pages. It was fine. Next, we have Stroke of Luck, Men of Nirvana by Phoenix Collins. It was okay. It's about two brothers and a father who own a strip club. The father does not treat his sons like his sons. He never treated their mother like how a man is supposed to treat his wife. So she left his ass. Now they run a strip club, a dancing club, whatever you want to call it. And the FMC works there, but she got a man, but he ain't no good in bed. He don't do this, he don't do that. Eventually, her and the man, one of the men who run the club, get together. It is what it is. It was okay. It was like a 4. I'm going to say a 3.5. 3.5. So now let's get into the books that I DNF'd this month. First is The Closest I've Come by Fred Aceves. The reason why this was a DNF, this is a YA coming of age book. On the back it says, Marcos Rivas yearns for love, and he does. I read a good, as I always do, almost a good 25%, or just a little bit over 25%, and I couldn't because he lives at home with his mother and her boyfriend. He is Hispanic, and his mother is too. His mother is dating a white man who calls him a racial slur to his face, and his friend is a black guy, a black boy, and calls him the N-word. And because he doesn't like this boy, the white boyfriend just doesn't like this boy, he knocks him on the ground in the apartment, knocks him on the floor, presses his knee into one, like his arm, like his underarm socket kind of, and one in his chest, like in his sternum, where he can't breathe and he's about to cry. His mother walks in from work, and instead of screaming, what the hell are you doing to my fucking kid, like to me any normal mother would, she stands there and is like, come on, like what is going on? And the boyfriend won't let him up until he hears what he needs to hear from him, which is, it's my fault, my bad, it's my fault, I did it. And then he lets him up. So his mother is like, it's always you. You walk in and this man is about to kill your son, and you don't give a fuck. And he's looking to his mother. In that scene, he looks to his mother, and in his head, he's thinking, if there was ever a time that a mother is supposed to care about their kid, it would be this one. And she doesn't. So he grabs his stuff and he goes to the basketball court, as he always would do. I DNF'd. Sometimes I do wonder who these kinds of books are written for. Is it written for the teenager that might pick this up? Or is it written because of the author wanting to tell a story of just how bad parents can be. And this is not the first book I've read that I've thought that about. I read a middle grade this year that I was like, no kid would want to read this. This is sad. This is depressing. But then you read the back of the book and it's like, oh my God, the best take on. No, these are not great takes. These are bad. These are parents that shouldn't have had kids that did. And we just honestly, for the most part, we just let them walk. The kids find out who they are, who they want to be. Oh, I don't need other people's love. Whatever the narrative is that they need to find for it to be a coming of age story, and the parents get no flack for what they've done, what they're doing, and what they will do in the future. Bah humbug, I'm done with that. That's my rant. It was a DNF. Next, I'm sorry to say, The Book of Witching by C.J. Cook. This would have been my first C.J. Cook. I was 25% in and I was bored. I was so damn bored. Nothing, like something had happened and it's two timelines, obviously the past and the future, and I was bored as hell. I DNF'd. Wahala by Nikki May. This book lost me at the group of biracial friends. It lost me at the group of biracial friends. I'm sorry. You have three women who met when they were in college, and they bonded over being three biracial women who just didn't know how to fit in anywhere. They lost me. They lost me at that. Like, what the fuck do you mean? What? And you know what? When it comes to these biracial stories, I'm getting tired of them, and this is the reason why. Your parents are supposed to help you navigate who you are before you leave your damn house and go to college and feel like, oh my God, I met two other biracial people who knows what it feels to be biracial. Excuse me? Why did your parents have you? DNF. My camera is dying. We'll be right back. Next up is horror. And this is the only horror I believe I read in the month of December. Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fato. I actually enjoyed this book. She was very unhinged. I just enjoyed her unhingedness. I also didn't see the twist coming, and it all took place, the crescendo of this book took place during a Christmas weekend. Fitting for December. Next are the thriller books. First up, we have Alice Feeney's Beautiful Ugly, which I absolutely did not enjoy. Not only was this an unreliable narrator, but the narrator was lying the entire time. None of the story made sense. Once you got to the end, it all didn't make sense. The best part of this book is at the end of the book, in the very last chapter, like the second or third to last page, the main male character of this book lets you in on a secret that involves this actual book. That was the best thing of this book. This book will be on hold, because what do you mean? What even was this? Now, if you haven't seen this book around, where have you been? But this is Falling by T.J. Newman. And T.J. Newman is actually a woman. I didn't know that. The name, it just seemed very masculine. I don't know why. But I enjoyed this. It didn't keep me at the edge of my seat. I kind of did want to know what was happening and why it all was happening. I read some Goodreads reviews about this, and I can understand why some people might think it may be problematic. I enjoyed this. It is a thriller, and it's about a plane being hijacked, but you don't know who or why in the beginning this is all happening, and it's all up to the pilot to either crash the plane as a request, as a demand, or land the plane, or try to at least land the plane and his family dies. It's a big thing. This book reminded me of Red Eye, that movie with Cillian Murphy. The Landlord by Brandon Massey. I enjoyed this book. I didn't know what to expect of this book, but this book was frustrating. It was funny as hell. It was weird. It was problematic when it came to the family and their relationship with each other, with other family members outside of them, outside of the family dynamic. This book was good. I enjoyed it. Next, we'll get into traditionally published romance. So, Intercepted by Alexa Martin. This book is funny. The voice of this book is funny. I listened to this on audio while reading in tandem with the physical book, and I laughed out loud. It was really good. The problem with this writing, however, why this couldn't get a full 5-star for me, is because this book has no rereadability for me. I don't know about other people, but for me, it has no rereadability. Even though I'm going to give this 4 stars because I enjoyed this book. I laughed my ass off. I enjoyed it and everything. No rereadability for several reasons. Maybe even a 3.75, but whatever. But for several reasons, and one of the main reasons is the hashtags. I don't think in hashtags. I'm not walking around my house and thinking, hashtag gotta watch that. Hashtag, am I right? Like, that's not how... I don't know. If you think in hashtags, or you know someone who has told you they think in hashtags, because you wouldn't know unless they told you, let me know in the comments. But I really don't think people think in hashtags. And because we are in her head, she is the only person telling the story. This is a one POV kind of story. We are only in her head. And hashtag this and hashtag that and hashtag this it got annoying after a while. And I said, grow the fuck up. Can you grow the fuck up real quick? Please. Also, the series has no readability for me. I read this one, great. I'm not going to continue in this series. I gave it a 4. I think I'm going to bump that down to a 3.5. 3.5. And we're going to move on. Next is the comics. So I finally read volume 18 of The Walking Dead, What Comes After, and this is full Negan. And I told you all that I am on my rewatch, and now I'm in the territory of The Walking Dead that I have never watched before, which is season 9. But this is way before season 9. This is Negan at his best, and this comic takes full, or I should say the show takes full canon from here. Like full pages of here. Just take them off the page and put them on the screen and it baffled me because I was like, this is straight dialogue from this comic. And it made me laugh. There's a scene, if you know from the show, put it in the comments, but there's a scene where Negan says to Rick, I just slid my dick down your throat and you thanked me for it. That is one of the most iconic lines from the show. And the reason is because you can see how unserious Negan really is. How he really don't give a damn about anything. How disrespectful he is. And where Rick is in this time of the Negan, of the Saints. Like, it's iconic. It's iconic lines. And it made me laugh like hell. It made me laugh like hell. But anyway, I only read this one. I don't often read nonfiction, but let's get into the nonfiction that I read. So I read You Are a Badass, How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero. Now, let me preface this. I've had this book for a very long time. I did not realize that I actually read this book before until I started reading this book this time and realized I annotated and underlined in this book a hell of a lot all the way to the end. So this was a reread. This wasn't a first time read. This was a reread. Now, as a mental health counselor, still in training, I'm in my last class by the time you see this. No, by the time you see this, I'll still be in school. But in February, I'll be out of school. Or finish with classes, should I say, and start an internship. But as a mental health counselor, this is cognitive behavioral therapy. This is CBT. This book, and I'm not going to bash this book at all. For me, I see this book as something that you give to someone who doesn't want to go to therapy or to counseling. Someone who doesn't think that counseling can help them. They refuse to go. They refuse any help because they think that they can do it on their own, and maybe they can. But if they like to read, and you know those people who it doesn't matter how much advice you give them, they never listen to you. But if a famous person was to say, like if Beyonce was to say, get off your ass and do something, they're off their ass, and now they're working, now they're exercising, now they're writing a book, now they're doing whatever it was that Beyonce said that they could do, now they're doing it. That's what this is. The person who knows what to do already and just needs a little push, as if they found the answers on their own, but it's in a book, but it also could have been in therapy. That's this book. Next up is middle grade. So for my middle grade, I read Elijah of Buxton by Christopher Paul Curtis. This is a book that I don't know what I thought it was, but I thought it had hates and things like that. It does not. However, Elijah of Buxton, I gave this book 5 stars. This was a 5-star read for me. This is about a settlement in Canada called Buxton, and it is filled with free Black people. This is a town where slaves can run to for freedom, and Elijah is the first freed child to be born in Buxton, and he is a rambunctious child. He's always getting into something, and his parents are always telling him that you can't believe everything that people tell you. Sometimes you have to use your grown-up ears and your grown-up mind and sensibilities to decipher the truth from the fiction. And he's only 11, and he hasn't mastered that because everyone in this book is always telling stories. He even has one surrounding him and Frederick Douglass. They say, Frederick came to the town and shook him a little bit, and he threw up on him, and threw up so much he threw up for days and nights, and 40 years and 40 days and 40 nights. And it's just crazy because he know it can't be true, but he's trying to piece together how it could possibly not be true. And a lot happens in this story, especially with the preacher, who is low down and dirty. And at the end of this book, and I wish we would have gotten one more chapter, just one more chapter. But at the end of this book, towards the end of this book, Elijah helps some slaves, and he actually stops being so fragile. That's what they call him in this. He actually has to stop being he has to emotionally grow up in an instant. And it was a beautiful thing to see. I enjoyed this book so much. I recommend it. Next, YA. So first up is No Escape by Maren Stoffels. This book kind of caught me off guard. Like, I know it was about an escape room, but basically, let me tell you what it's about. So 2 separate teenagers get an invitation to an escape room by someone they've never met, never seen before. They have to call the number. They're approached by a lady in red. She gives them a card. and walks away. They call the number, they get the address for the escape room, they show up. Each one of them brings a friend. So our main FMC brings her friend who is suffering from mental illness, and our main MMC is like a YouTube singing sensation that our FMC does not know of and could care less. And he brings along his best friend who is a girl. They all show up, but they have to break up into teams. So whether you came with the person, oh, and you cannot be on the team with the person that you came with. And they break them up. They go into two separate parts of an escape room, and everything jumps off from there. This had me on on the edge of my seat, because I'm like, these are kids. Who the hell would do this to kids? And when you find out who, it still doesn't make sense. But I enjoyed it. Next is I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. And this is a road trip YA story. I gave this one about a 3.5 because I didn't like the parents in this book. None of them. None of the parents in this book. Our main FMC's mother pulls it together in the end, but I did not like the parents in this book. Our main FMC wants to be a ballerina, but the audition is in a different town, and her mother doesn't want her to even go to school in a different town. Once high school is over, she doesn't want her to go away to college in a different town. This all stems from her husband and our FMC's father died in a car crash, and our FMC had an accident involving a pizza delivery truck car driver person, whatever, and broke her ankle or sprained her ankle, whatever. And her mother is very cautious, but her mother is cautious to the point of stifling dreams and more. And it's very overbearing. It's very condescending. It's very, you're a child and you don't know nothing about nothing and you never will. And my word is law. Now, does her mother change in the end? Yes, but you suck. And all the other parents in this book do as well. But I did enjoy the story for her. Next up is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. Now, I caught on real late that this was vampires and tea. I caught on real late. If you don't know, I am team vampire always, because I just like I just like vampires. But I enjoyed this. It's a heist with vampires and half-breed vampires and just an amalgamation of characters who should not get along, would not get along, and at times still don't get along, and some romances are starting to blossom in here. I can't wait for the second one. I enjoyed this. Next is The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy. I have read 2 books by Catherine Purdy, the Bone Grace series, the duology, and I enjoyed the Bone Grace duology. So I decided when Fairy Loot was doing these that I would get this book. And this is take all of Grimm's fairy tales, Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, Rapunzel, a whole bunch of them, and throw them in a forest that can kill you. That's this book. I enjoyed it. Last but not least is my indies. If you don't know, I am a Nikki St. Crow stan. I have read everything that woman has ever put out, and I own everything that woman has ever released. And Dark and Darker Still is one of those books by Nikki St. Crow. This is does it say it on here? No, but a Vane and Crocodile story. This is kind of like how Vane and Crocodile came to be who they are in their own stories. And also Alice from Alice in Wonderland is in here, and she was insufferable. Alice, I've never met a character I think that was more insufferable than Alice in this book. A whiny ass bitch. And when I say that, I mean it with all disrespect. Because not only was Alice having sex with Vane, but also his brother Croc, but also their uncle. the Mad Hatter. Girl, you ain't getting enough. Yuck. This beautiful edition, Rude Boss by Tina Martin. It's a special edition, so it's signed by the author. And I love this cover. That's why I got it. Rude Boss, he definitely was a rude ass man. But there is a twist about why he's so mean, and you get the twist, like you get the first twist right off the bat. But this is 2 books in one, so this is an omnibus. But I don't know if I would have liked that man after all of this. Like, he isn't the person that she thinks he is. He isn't even the person that he thinks he is. This is a lot. This is a lot of emotions in this book. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I would be with that man after this. I don't know. Last but not least is The Fake Boyfriend Fiasco by Talia Hibbert. Take a fully tattooed woman and a pro footballer, and you have this book. But also make the footballer incapable of ever saying no to a sexual encounter, and make our tattooed baddie a simpering mess all the time because she cannot trust herself. That's what this is. Oh, and it's kind of queer because he fucks everything. That's just him. I don't know how I feel about this. Still don't. But yeah, that's everything that I read in the month of December. I have not read anything in January as of yet. It's still the first. It's only the first. As I'm recording this, it's the first, so I can calm down. But I hope that everyone had a great reading year, and I hope that you all have a great reading year for 2026. I wish you nothing but great reads in 2026. Let me know if you wrapped up December with good reads or with not so good reads. Did you DNF anything in December? How many books did you read in December? Was it hard for you to read in December? Let me know, because like I said, I read less in December, but I also read light in December. So, and it's every year. And I'm still trying to pick what I want to be my first reading experience of 2026. I'm trying not to pick anything too crazy, too bad. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you made it this far in the video. And I will definitely see you all in the next one. Bye.